Good morning again, everyone. Welcome to City Hall. Welcome to Council Chambers and a meeting of the Los Angeles City Council for today, Tuesday, October 22nd, 2002. The City Council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. with a rare exception when we take the council meetings on the road and into communities throughout the city of Los Angeles. But nonetheless, the public is always invited to join us to participate in council proceedings. For members of the public unable to attend council meetings, we can also be viewed live on your cable station, Channel 35. We can be viewed live via webcast from the city's homepage or heard via council phone. We have 9 members present at this time. It is just shy of 10:15 a.m., so we are just shy of a quorum, but this being Tuesday, as is customary, we have a moment of inspiration and a salute to the flag scheduled for today. I'd like to begin today's meeting by recognizing Councilmember Janice Hahn.
The flag salute first, or? Yes. Thank you. Would you all rise and join with me as we pledge allegiance to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. President, colleagues, I am honored now to introduce the person who will bring us our moment of inspiration, Matthew Ross. Matt is a native Angelino and a Los Angeles entertainment attorney who has practiced law in California since 1989. Matt has worked as a business affairs executive at CBS Network, as an aide to then California Lieutenant Governor Leo McCarthy, and as a legislative assistant to Congresswoman Barbara Mikulski of Maryland. Currently, Matt serves as a member of the Executive Steering Commission of the Jewish Community Relations Committee of the Jewish Federation Council of Greater Los Angeles, and also serves as chairman of its Government Relations Commission. He is also formally a member of the board of directors of the Malibu Jewish Center. Matt lives in Pacific Palisades with his wife and 2 daughters. Thank you for being with us this morning, Matt.
Well, thank you very much, and good morning, Mr. President and members. We seek to bring to the attention of local officials and federal and state officials like you the critical health and human service efforts of the Jewish Federation and its constituent agencies. Organizations with names that should be familiar to you, like Jewish Family Services, Jewish Vocational Services, Core LA, our mentor reading program, and Betzedek Legal Services, among others, reach out to thousands of needy individuals throughout the greater Los Angeles area and do so on a non-denominational basis. We take seriously the biblical mandate to repair the world. Today, I just want to talk with you briefly about a valuable demonstration program to assist seniors living independently in large concentrations, also referred to as naturally occurring retirement communities, and known by the almost Sesame Street-like name NORCs. In this past year, the U.S. Congress recognized the importance of the testing of NORC services through a 1-year funding of 5 NORC demonstration projects. Jewish Family Services, which for more than 100 years has delivered health and human services to the Los Angeles community, has requested federal funding for this program proposal, which will enable more senior citizens to remain in their own homes by extending care to more than 1,350 low to moderate income elderly living in the West Hollywood and Fairfax area. Through this program, services will be brought directly to older adults where they live. Support services would include social workers to help arrange services and support money management for those who need financial help, emergency response system, transportation services to neighborhood settings. It would provide home modification operations to seniors with disabilities, expand intergeneration volunteer connections to prevent isolation for the majority of seniors who live alone and without family nearby. Finally, it would increase education programs for seniors. This program would be cost-effective, non-disruptive, and psychologically beneficial, and it wouldn't hurt that by preventing unnecessary hospitalizations or transfers to institutional settings, it may save taxpayer dollars. Now, Jewish Family Services has requested a grant of $1.5 million for the fiscal year of 2003, and there's a 25% match from state and local governments, including $100,000 that comes through the City of Los Angeles and the Linkages program. Ladies and gentlemen, Norks were recently the subject of a story on National Public Radio, and reporter Margot Adler visited New York City, which in 1999 allocated $4 million to Nork services. There, in the Lincoln Square Neighborhood Center, she encountered dozens of elderly who's had their lives changed by this program. The most common refrain was, "I've been waiting for something like this for years. Where have you guys been?" Now, this grant request has the support of many of our local congressional leaders: Henry Waxman, who carried this request in the House of Representatives, Howard Berman, Diane Watson, Javier Becerra, Brad Sherman, Jane Harmon, and Adam Schiff have all lent their support, and Councilmember Jack Weiss here has offered to circulate a resolution in support of this grant request. Members, Mr. President, I hope we can call upon you to assist us in this important endeavor to improve the lives of our fellow citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being with us today. Members of the council, members of the public, we have achieved a quorum. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Brinson, Galanter, Garcetti, Gruel, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Miskowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Ridley, Thomas, Weiss, Stein, Padilla, 12 members present, and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Before beginning with the items appearing on today's agenda, we do have at least one special presentation scheduled for today. The chair recognizes the chair of our Public Safety Committee, Councilmember Cindy Miskowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really do believe that this is a special privilege, and I am very honored to be standing here next to our 53rd Chief of the Los Angeles Police Department, Chief Martin Pomeroy. Last week, the police department held a reception in his honor for his term of office, and it's been a remarkable term of office, albeit a short one. 6 months ago, Chief Pomeroy was asked to come out of retirement, a richly deserved retirement and one that he was richly enjoying, to come back and head the helm of Los Angeles Police Department while we in the city went through a search for a chief of police. The impression that he has left there, not only in all of his earlier years with the Los Angeles Police Department, but his impression as the chief has been remarkable. I think we had our new chief designate say that in part he wanted to come here to restore part of the badge, the LAPD badge. Let me say that I think some of the luster of that LAPD badge has been restored, is shining brightly, and is shining brightly as a consequence of the leadership of Chief Pomeroy. I'm going to tell a short little story. I don't know whether he even knows that I've heard this story. Just to show the kind of leadership, the kind of respect that not only he receives from the Los Angeles police officers, but that he has given back to the Los Angeles police officers. A member of his command staff came forward one day with a proposal that this person had been working on, and asked Chief Pomeroy, well, what do you think? Do you want to look at it? Do you want to go over it? What should we do? Chief Pomeroy looked at this person and said, is this your responsibility? And the command person said, yes, it is. And she says, do you think it's a good idea? Yes, I do. Do you think you can implement it? Yes, I do. Then just do it. Not worrying about micromanaging, not worrying about going over this in a belabored committee, just saying to those people who are part of the LA Police Department, if you think it's a good idea, if you think this can be supported and it works, just do it. And I think that epitomizes the respect that he has for the department, and clearly that the department has for him. I don't think we can thank him enough. I know the Los Angeles Police Department family did thank him at their reception, but I thought we ought not to let him leave this particular post without being brought forward to the Los Angeles City Council to be received, to be thanked, and congratulated. And this is from the mayor, the city council, all of us, thanking and congratulating Chief Martin Pomeroy, the 53rd Chief of the Los Angeles Police Department, for his leadership, loyalty, dedication, and absolute commitment to the Los Angeles Police Department, all it stands for, and to protect and serve the citizens of Los Angeles. Chief Pomeroy, thank you very, very much.
The Chair recognizes Reserve Officer Dennis P. Zunt.
Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues. Chief, I remember the day that you came before council and the hopes, the dreams, the wishes that we had and the dreams you fulfilled by coming back from beautiful Montana to lead the Los Angeles Police Department. And I know that your short time here, you've had a tremendous impact on the organization. I mean a tremendous impact. From the street level officers, the detectives, the command staff, you have been a breath of fresh air that has brought about a boost in morale of this organization that was longing for such a long period of time. We're going to miss you. You've done extremely well. Congratulations. Many happy horse riding trails in Montana, as I know you're looking forward to that. But you have definitely left your mark on Los Angeles from your time here as the chief of police in your previous years. And I look at those hash marks and the many dedicated years of service you gave to the people of Los Angeles do not go unnoticed. And I join my colleagues in congratulating you and happy second retirement from the City of Los Angeles and the LAPD. Best wishes to you, Chief.
Mr. Brinson.
Well, I think a lot's been said by my two colleagues ahead of me that I might have said, but I'm going to say a little more. Martin, you stepped into a situation that was about as tough as anybody could walk into, and graciously you handled it, and you handled it beautifully. And you've restored a lot of respect that the department lost through the situations that have went before. But everybody's going to say that part. I'm going to talk about the time when you were Valley Chief and what a great relationship we had with you and what a great job you did out there with the community and how sad we were when you were moved away from the Valley. I just want to thank you again and congratulate you for a great job that you did for us and wish you the best in your retirement and come and see us sometime, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, Martin.
Mr. Garcetti.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Chief Pomeroy, I want to add my voice to the chorus, but also, in particular, thank you for the focus that you had in Hollywood. I know that when you joined us for that community meeting, not only did you show leadership and set the standard for how community outreach should be, but I think one of the things that I will always carry with me as a city council member is that we should never accept as an excuse that we don't have enough resources. That good management is about finding what the goals are and never finding the excuse as to why not, but as to how we can. And those foot patrols are out there right now on Hollywood Boulevard, on Sunset Boulevard, on Santa Monica Boulevard. That is a piece of your legacy, but it is so much broader than that. And thank you for what you've done. This has been one of the best interactions I've ever had with a police chief, and we can only build from here. Thank you.
Ms. Gruhl.
Chief Pomeroy, I just want to add my thanks to you. Your reputation preceded you before you came, and everyone is so thrilled with what you were able to accomplish in a short period of time. And although they're excited about the new police chief, there was a uprising that people wanted you to stay, and I know you put that down immediately that you did not want to, but some of us had appreciated so much what you did in that short period of time. And I think the real test is the officers who respected you and who believed in you and felt that they had someone at the top that they could trust and work with. And I think, as Councilmember Bernson mentioned, and this was a difficult time for so many people, and uncertainty, and having your level-headedness, your calm demeanor, and I guess charge of the situation really benefited all of us. And so I'm just sorry that I was only elected in April and being able to work with you. But we hope that you will come back and visit, share with us your thoughts and beliefs on how we can continue to improve the City of Los Angeles and the Los Angeles Police Department. But we owe you a great deal of gratitude for your commitment and willingness to come back. So thank you very much on behalf of my community and my district, who definitely appreciated your efforts. Thank you.
Ms. Hahn.
Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues, Chief. I, too, want to really express just the huge debt of gratitude that the entire City of Los Angeles, the police department owes you forever, really. Many people in your situation would have not returned the phone call. You had entered into your retirement. We all read the stories of you enjoying your passion of fly fishing. You really were starting a complete different chapter in your life. So for you to return the phone call, agree to say yes to coming and stepping in as the interim chief really was one of the finest acts of public service I think many of us have witnessed in a long time. And what was great about you was you didn't just come in and be a placeholder. You really came in and you acted like the chief. And you made decisions, you made changes, you responded to me personally on some issues that I had long had concerns about. So it was really gratifying to know that you were not just filling a place, but you were taking the opportunity to do some things for the department which you loved and served for so many years. And I think the police officers respected you, responded to that, and certainly, as Cindy said, the luster, if there ever was any tarnish on this badge, certainly began to be returned as you were our interim chief. So thank you so much for what you did, and we'll never forget it, really. I think you really put this department in a new direction, which the new chief will be able to just improve upon. So thank you, Marty.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Perry.
Thank you very much. I also wanted to rise and say thank you so much, and for the short period of time we had a chance to work together. There's one thing that sticks out in my mind, the way you treated people with so much respect. I know we met at a block party at Newton one evening, and I remember the captain saying that not only were you on time, you were early, and they were just so shocked because they've never had somebody do that. But it's just a reflection of your character and the way you treat people. And so I will miss you. I hope you enjoy your retirement again, but you're only a phone call away.
Mr. Weiss.
Thank you, Mr. President and Chief. I also want you to know that I'm going to miss you. And what I find interesting and remarkable about your service over these past several months is, as you yourself have often stated, it was bittersweet for you. I imagine it was bittersweet for you to leave the department and begin your career of fly fishing. And it was bittersweet for you to leave that which you had so justifiably earned over so many years, to come back here, and yet you must have really loved it while you were back, and you must have really enjoyed it while at the same time missing the tranquil life in the woods. And I guess in a sense the true test of your success here, and I hope you take this the right way, the true test of your success will be, I hope, that you are not needed once again back here. I mean, the true test of your success over the last several months will be that hopefully you have contributed notably to your own obsolescence here in Los Angeles. And hopefully we will not need another person such as yourself to come in and pinch hit for this department. Hopefully the reforms that you have engineered over the past several months will endure over the next several years. And every time you pick up the newspaper in wherever you're going to be, or you log on to latimes.com, you're only going to read positive things about the LAPD. It will be a tremendous legacy for you to only have to come back to Los Angeles for happy occasions, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Council President. Chief Pomeroy, I want to thank you for your support. Although I didn't get to work with you directly, I'm working with Chief Yorick and the other commanding staff. We were to get horses out to MacArthur Park and make a difference in having a presence of police there. And we did not have that flexibility before, so I want to thank you for that. In the northern part, in Eastlake and Lincoln Heights, we've been concentrating on the gang violence there. And there was a sense of, can I say, comfort and confidence in the officers to be much more assertive in dealing with the problems there. I know that's a direct reflection of your posture as the commanding chief. I want to thank you for that support during the summer in which it could have been worse, and just thank God it did not get as bad as it could have. and it's because you were there at the helm, and I want to just thank you for that support. And good luck to you in the future, and enjoy those golden years.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Mr. Labange.
He's coming through the door.
Mr. President, member of council, it's great to be in the right place at the right time. And years ago, when I was working for Mayor Reardon, I was representing the city at the police academy, and I got to witness Martin Pomeroy's son graduate from the police academy. It was a great moment. And I had my camera with me right there on the stage, and I took pictures of it, and I captured that. And I know that was something your family enjoyed, but it was great to be there for somebody who's always been there for us. Martin Pomeroy was someone I first met and got to work with when he had the command at Wilshire Center at the Wilshire Division Police Station. And further, at the time, and then he grew in his job from being commander of the San Fernando Valley to other roles, and then running into him at the Water and Power. Because up at the Water and Power, that's where the Los Angeles Police Department and the federal government and Justice Department met to discuss the issues of the consent decree. And Marty was always there doing what's right for Los Angeles. But it was great that you took the call, as mentioned earlier, and came back to Los Angeles and led this department's turnaround. You turned it around, and that's what's so important. And then I had the privilege on the night that Chief-to-be Bratton went to Hollywood Station, and then we walked into the roll call room, which was filled with officers. The first thing the officers of Hollywood Division did, gave a standing salute to Martin Pomeroy for his work with the LAPD. I'm just very pleased to know you as a friend because you're so solid, you're so righteous. You make the greatest speeches in the world, as John Ferraro would say. They're so short that no one's not going to vote for you for anything. You do, you're right to the point. I have two things for you to add to that beautiful plaque. All of us around here signed this book. It's a little book called See the World. I know you're going back to Montana, and I know the world is here in Los Angeles, but I hope in your retirement you could travel the world. And if you need any directions, just go out to the Sister City sign there at 1st and Main and pick your sister city. And also, Marty, he was at a North Hollywood event just recently in the community for North Hollywood area, and he had time in between events, and he took advantage of the offer, and he came to Mount Hollywood. And I have for you a framed picture of the 53rd Chief of Police for the Los Angeles Police Department at 1,625 feet, standing above the City of Angels, looking over the great city from a vista that no other chief, I believe, has been to. So you're very special that way. I want to thank you for all you've done extra. Because how we get out of things is we do extra work, and you certainly have done that, and you've turned this department around and moved it forward. I congratulate you, and I thank you for your service to the people of Los Angeles.
Thank you, Mr. Labange. Are the members wishing to be heard? Mr. Holden?
Well, this is another sad day in my life, Chief, that you're leaving. Sure wish you could stay permanently. Not only are you a good guy, but you got a great smile. And you can tell by your face that you're doing a good job for us. And the fact that when the call of duty was necessary, you came on and you did a good job for the people of the city of Los Angeles. We respect the men and women in the department because you understand them well and what they've done, and as they dedicate their time and their life and put it on the line every day. They go out to do duty for the people of this city. And you understand them. You work with them. You understand the department. You also understand, and I'm proud to say that it is the best department ever in the United States of America. And that in time to come, people realize that more than ever. And also, more than ever, how much we're going to miss you. Thank you and for what you've done, and have a good vacation. Maybe you'll come back.
Thank you.
Other members? If not, let me briefly add also my gratitude for the unnecessary but time that you took to come back to the city you served for so many years to make it that much better. We really do appreciate it on behalf of the council and also on behalf of the constituents in my Northeast Valley District for all your support in dealing with what's been a tougher year for us when it comes to crime, but we're back on the right track here, and we thank you again.
Thank you. Symbolic of my 32 years of service in the department, while these kind words are being spoken, Mr. Deaton's over there staring at me, trying to intimidate me. It's with some it's with some slight embarrassment, but deep appreciation. I say thank you for this plaque. I'm so grateful for the opportunity extended by the mayor and this body and by the Police Commission to return with the great honor of serving as the chief of the Los Angeles Police Department. This plaque will have an honored space on my wall in Montana, the value being that it will remind me as I pass it of the many good moments during the past 6 months and of the many good things that were said about me here today. I'm grateful to this body for those things that have been said in this chamber about me in the past. I'm aware of them and thankful. And for those things that have been said today, thank you. I made the commitment to turn over an organization that was number one, that was functioning, that was ready to receive new leadership. I hope you would judge that I've delivered on that. But if there's been any good work done during the past 6 months, it is less of myself and more of our officers. I have been enriched far beyond anything I have received for my service during the last 6 months. The opportunity for personal growth and insight has been remarkable. What the organization has done has been because of the people in it. Mr. Bratton has had the good sense to recognize several people that were a part of my team and retain them in their positions. I'd like to acknowledge them now because infrequently do we speak publicly of their names, and yet they serve so many hours so selflessly and dedicated. Although a great number of staff members have joined me here today from my front office, my support staff, adjutants, etc. 4 in particular who work the front office I'd like to have stand up to be recognized as having been selected by Mr. Bratton to continue whatever minor legacy administratively I might have had for this organization. First is our secretary, Mary Helen Ayala. Alma Velarde. Maria Gonzalez. Nancy Gomez. Mr. Bratton and I will share one thing. We will be the only people in our office who speak English. So they are a wonderful and talented staff. And finally to Council Member Misakowski for the kind things she said at my first retirement, for the kind things she said at this body when I appeared on the budget issues shortly after my return, and to the very kind things that she said representing all of you today. This has been a moment that I will remember forever, and I'm grateful to have this memento to remind me of this moment. Thank you so very, very much.
Mr. President, let's take a group photo right here. Group photo. I'll do it again.
Members of the public, we ask for your patience during our quick timeout here with a picture with the 53rd Chief of the Los Angeles Police Department. Thank you, Ms. Misikowski, members of the council, Chief Pomeroy. Mr. Clerk, next order of business, please.
Approval of the minutes.
Ms. Misikowski moves, Mr. Holden seconds.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Labange moves, and Mr. Bernstein seconds.
Before starting the regular agenda, there is a request that item number 1 be received and filed. The Building and Safety Department has indicated that the assessment has been paid on this matter.
Members request to receive and file item number 1 without objection, so ordered.
Item number 53 is a city official, and there is a public hearing has been held. The appointment of Richard Grudon as alternate public member, Business Tax Advisory Committee, Board of Review. There is a Budget and Finance Committee report recommendation.
Okay, and as he's coming forward, again, public hearing having been held in committee, we have a committee report recommending approval. Members of the council wishing to be heard on this item? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the roll, please close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Congratulations, and thank you for your service to the city.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Forthwith on item 53, please. Next item.
Items numbers 2 through 7 on the regular agenda are items noticed for public hearing.
I have cards on item number 7. Let's call that matter special. On the balance of the items, I do not have requests from members of the public to address the council. We shall deem the public hearings open and closed. Members of the council wishing to call any specials, items 2 through 6. Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the roll, please close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item, please.
Items numbers 8 through 25 on the regular agenda are items for which public hearings have been held.
Items 8 through 25 now before us, members. A motion from the floor would be required to reopen public hearings on these items. Any specials, Ms. Hahn?
Call 10 special.
Item 10, call special by Ms. Hahn. 9. Item 9, call special by Mr. Pacheco. Any other specials? Items 8 through 25, items 9 and 10 have been called special. Any other specials? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the roll, please close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Those matters are approved. Next items, please.
Items numbers 26 through 50 are items for which public hearings have not been held. Item number 42, a motion is required inasmuch as the CLA is requested to report today.
Members, a motion is required on item number 42. I do have cards in item number 29. We'll call that special. On the balance of the items, we have not received requests from members of the public to address the council, so we shall deem the public hearings satisfied. Ms. Gruhl.
Just going to move item number 42. Do I need to call it special for us to have a motion
Okay, no. Item 42 is moved.
to adopt the CLA report?
Correct. Unless somebody else wishes to call that special. Seeing none.
39.
Item 39, called special by Ms. Hahn. Mr. Clerk, I believe the members of the public have withdrawn their comment cards for item 29. So we have a motion to receive and file item number 29. Is there any objection to that? Seeing none, item 29 is received and filed. Any other specials, items 26 through 50? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the roll on the balance of the items. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Those matters are approved. Next items, please.
Mr. President, items numbers 51 and 52 are closed session items. Do you wish those to remain on the desk?
Let's hold those on the desk.
So it brings you to the supplemental agenda, items numbers 54 through 56. Item number 55, a motion is required inasmuch as this matter is referred to council for consideration. And item number 56, a motion is required inasmuch as there's 2 files on 1 report.
Members, do I have motions from the floor on items 55 or 56? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, let's call those special. Anyone wishing to call item 54 special? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the roll on item 54. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. Next items, please.
On the supplemental agenda, items numbers 57 through 71 are items for which public hearings have not been held.
And I do not have requests from members of the public to address the council on these items. With public hearings satisfied, are there members wishing to call any specials, items 57 through 71? Mr. Holden.
60 and 71. We held that over from Friday. So
Item
special.
60, call special by Mr. Holden. Item 71, call special by Mr. Holden. Item 70, call special by Mr. Pacheco. Any other specials? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the roll on the balance of the items. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
Those matters are approved. Next item, please.
Mr. President, you also have a special meeting agenda today. Do you wish to consider that at this time or hold it on the desk?
Let's temporarily recess the regular meeting. And Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll on the special meeting?
Burnson, Galanter, Garcetti, Gruel, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Miskowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Ridley Thomas, Weisstein, Padilla, 14 members present and a quorum.
Thank you. The special meeting is now in session. We have a one-item agenda on the special meeting. Mr. Clerk?
Yes, Mr. President. Okay. The bids were opened this morning, and the City Administrative Officer has prepared 2 resolutions for Council to adopt regarding the award of a bid. The first one is number 1, Mikla A.Ev to Lehman Brothers for an aggregate principal amount of $73,230,000 with a true interest cost of 3.834672%. The second resolution is the Mikla T3 to Goldman Sachs for an aggregate principal amount of $43,160,000 at a true interest cost of 4.950736%. A motion is required from the floor to adopt the resolutions today.
Is there such a motion from the floor? Mr. Pacheco moves. Members wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the roll. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
That is approved. Forthwith, please. And I believe that concludes the special meeting agenda. Let us now adjourn the special meeting and return to the regular meeting. Mr. Clerk, next item, please.
Mr. President, item number 7 is the first item called special, inasmuch as there are members of the public who wish to be heard.
Item number 7, now before us. The council calls forward Mr. David Morgan, followed by, I believe it's Dirk Disgrave, Andrew Glazier, and Carol Massey.
Hi. Good morning, council members. I'm David Morgan, the Hollywood Better Government Association, and I want to convey the oral objection of Rabbi Naphtali Eskelin of Gan Israel Synagogue to this new tax on his property. The preliminary petition that was filed is illegal and defective, and 15 of the 40 property owners who signed it have withdrawn that petition. So 37% of those petitions have now been withdrawn. We should not be at that stage. There should be no election. It's also in violation of Streets and Highway Code 36621 for omitting a summary of the management plan and map in the petition. In addition to this, over 60 of the 96 property owners in the proposed assessment district have submitted written protests. There's a massive protest. Over 60% are objecting. Our association has located alternative financing for this project. We're very much in favor of improving Hollywood, of improving security, of cleaning things up. And we have found $43 million, some of which could be deployed to the services that are proposed without imposing a new tax. The current Community Redevelopment Agency budget is $22 million. Some of those funds could be appropriated, as I've informed our council member, $1 million or so at least for these services. In addition, LAFCO has determined that Hollywood would have to pay a separation payment of $21 million to the city because Hollywood is paying $21 million more in taxes than it receives services for. Therefore, some of that money could be recovered and spent for these services.
If I'm asked to conclude, please.
Yes. So I urge you to terminate the proceedings and stop the consideration of this item.
Thank you very much. Members of the council, without objection, let us take a quick pause in the public hearing for this item. We shall return to public hearing and hear from the rest of the speakers, but Mr. Garcetti has a quick and special presentation to be made today as well. Mr. Garcetti.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, colleagues, and thank you for your indulgence on a Tuesday having a presentation. A good, dear friend of mine is in this country for only a short period, and today it gives me great honor to be able to present to you. I think many of you met her at my swearing in where she spoke. One of my heroes and one of my inspirations, Boge Bogelech Gebre, who is visiting us from Ethiopia, a longtime Angelino resident. And we're honoring her today in the city of Los Angeles for her tireless work. She was born in the Durame region of Ethiopia. Was the first girl in her village to finish school, to be able to go to college, the first woman to teach in the faculty at Addis Ababa University in the science faculty. And then she came here to the United States on a Fulbright scholarship, eventually settled in Los Angeles. And during the famine of Ethiopia in the 80s, the two famines, she decided to give something back to her country, her village, and founded Parents International Ethiopia, of which there are many Angelinos, many here today, who have supported her over the years. She first ran the LA Marathon to raise awareness about Ethiopia and to raise money for projects that Parents International Ethiopia was starting, but she knew after many years that she would actually have to return to her village, that she no longer could give back what she really wanted to from Los Angeles. And so she returned a few years ago to Kambata and to the village that she grew up in order to give girls, women, and the residents of that area opportunities that she didn't have. Most notably, she has been one of the world leaders in fighting against the practice of female genital excision, a horrible custom which is technically outlawed in Ethiopia but is still rampant in so many parts of the world. And doing that by giving girls an opportunity for education, women the opportunity to know about their civil rights, their human rights, and also the opportunity to develop economically and ecologically in one of the poorest areas of the world. I know Councilman Holden recently declared Little Ethiopia here in the city of Los Angeles, and we have so many people that are Angelinos, and certainly Boge is one of them, who contribute back to their communities. So it gives me great pride to present this certificate of appreciation to Boge. She's running off to the LA Times editorial board where she's going to be meeting with some folks shortly, but I just want to read this, that whereas Boge Gebre is a former longtime resident of Los Angeles and activist in African American and Ethiopian emigre community causes, and whereas Bogelech founded the Kambata Menti Gizima Tope, which is the Kambata Women's Self-Help Center in her home region of Kambata, Ethiopia, and whereas we honor Bogelech Gebre's courageous leadership, and whereas for your efforts to eradicate female genital excision and relentless pursuit of the elimination of this harmful customary practice, and whereas for your implementation of health programs in reproductive health education and HIV/AIDS prevention, livelihood programs in vocational training and advancement of women's entrepreneurial skills, and environmental programs to restore depleted watersheds and damaged regional ecologies. These are issues that we deal with when we talk about watershed and access to water. In Ethiopia, it means walking an hour and a half each direction to find water every day. Now, therefore, I commend Bogelech Boge Gebre for serving as a model of creative, productive self-help to all communities facing difficulties, whether urban or rural, throughout the world. Today, October 22nd, 2002. Thank you, Boge, for all that you do.
Mr. Holden.
Mr. President, members, let me just start out by commending Mr. Garcetti, Eric Garcetti, who has open arms for all people who are in need of comfort and support. And today he's brought to the City Council, the name is Boge, did I get it right? Boge, an individual who's been fighting for human rights, not here just in the United States, but where she was born in Ethiopia, and the good work that you have done there, and the fact that you are going to return to Ethiopia to continue your mission in life, and that is helping other individuals. Mr. Garcetti said that in recognition of the really good work of the entire Ethiopian community, we symbolically named the area Ethiopian, little Ethiopia in my district, part of Mr. Weiss's district on the other side of the street. But I might add that I first got to know a number of Ethiopians when I was in Jerusalem, in Israel, and the fact that they were so proud that the Israelis had come to Ethiopia on a 24-hour turnaround flights, and it was carried on for some time until they brought them out of Ethiopia to settle in Israel. And I went and visited the community in which they lived, and they were so excited about being in their new homeland, and of course their hosts were so excited to have them there. And so that's a community I'm sure that you will visit if you haven't already, and get to know them, because they're just as much a part of the Ethiopian community as they are Israel. So good luck, best wishes as you return to your homeland to continue your mission to help.
Thank you very, very much. I am so honored. I feel really honored to be honored by this great city. I lived in this city almost 18 years. I have seen the city going through transformation in my own life. I have seen this city really tested by fire, but it always came on top, because this administration embraced all its diversity. It is all its color, and came out to be colorful. It made me feel this is a city really, truly, city of angels. Its ability to embrace my present today is a testimony. Its ability to embrace everybody, every color, is a testimony of Ethiopian community in Los Angeles, thriving, growing. I thank you. I thank you. It is from this experience, it is ability to volunteer American people's heart to give to those who come to its door without questioning, also helped me to see my own position and my own opportunity here that was given to me, helped me to give back to my people. That's one of the things that drove me back home, to give back what I learned here. I have one question. Although Ethiopia considered to be one of the poorest countries in the world, but it's also known as a bread basket, could be a bread basket of Africa. I don't know if many of you know that Ethiopia also considered to be a water basin of the world. That's the country that is considered poor. Though it is poor materially, Ethiopia is a country of tremendous heritage, tremendous diversity, heterogeneity, multicolor, multi-language. It's a great country. It also has a great city called Addis Ababa, just like Los Angeles. Its name is Addis Ababa, meaning new flower. Is it ever be possible for City of Angels and City of Flowers to ever meet together? Could City of Angels embarrass City of Flowers? Could it make it a sister city, even though it doesn't have high-rising buildings, but it does have heritage to share with City of Los Angeles, City of Angels. Thank you, City of Angels, to honor me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Returning now, members, to item number 7, and the public hearing for item number 7. The council calls forward Dirk DeGreve, I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing that, I know, followed by Andrew Glazier, Carol Massey, and Todd Lindgren.
My name is Dirk DeGrave. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity. I'm here as president of the Central Hollywood Coalition, a coalition of property owners located in the Sunset and Vine area where the Business Improvement District is proposed. I'm also here representing the Fold family, who has been a property owner in the area where the bid is proposed for more than 40 years, and we are very excited to be part of this bid formation process. On behalf of the stakeholders, we are very excited that this bid is about to come to fruition and about to be installed, and all the stakeholders with us who are here with us today are excited as well. We are excited to start our proactive action, our proactive programs that we have proposed to take place in this bid. And finally, we are excited to continue the revitalization of Hollywood, which we all agree is needed and needs continuation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Mr. Glazier.
Good morning, members of the council. My name is Andrew Glazier, and I am here representing school board member Marlene Cantor. Just briefly, wanted to offer our support for the Sunset and Vine Business Improvement District. The school district recognizes that school sites can have a very positive relationship with the community around them, and that as the sum of all the parts in a community, we can join together to certainly make the area better for both our students and the businesses, and we look forward to the relationships that we will have with the Business Improvement District and the Education Committee they have formed specifically to help us out. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Carol Massey.
Good morning. My name is Carol Massey. I'm a small business owner in Hollywood. I'm a McDonald owner-operator, and I've been working on this bid for a year and a half. I'm the treasurer of the board, and I'm doing this because I truly believe that it is going to be a positive thing for all our businesses. We really need to take some responsibility for the issues that we have of safety and security, and we have done this in an open and honest manner. We have outreach to as many people as we can. I truly believe in it, and I think that this should go forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Todd Lindgren, followed by, is it Dowie, Duke Gallagher, and Alan Sides.
Good morning, council members. My name is Todd Lindgren. I'm the Government Affairs Director for the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here to express our support for the formation of the Sunset and Vine bid. The Chamber's been involved with bids since '96 when we helped get the Hollywood Entertainment District, Business Improvement District off the ground, and did likewise for the Media District. Those two bids have made tremendous strides and improvements in our community. The Sunset and Vine corridor, with the opening of the Cinerama Dome and the soon-to-be Sunset and Vine project, which will bring hundreds of residents to our area, creating a pedestrian zone, a lot of activity, is going to be a tremendously important corridor in the core of Hollywood in the next 5 years. Bids will ensure a safe and clean environment so that that area can reach its potential. Bids are about taking ownership of a community, and I'd like to just congratulate all of the people that have worked so hard. There's been a tremendous amount of organic support within the community for the creation of this bid. The Chamber has worked on behalf of bids, so business helping to facilitate services to businesses within a bid. So it's not just the property owners that benefit from increased property values, but the businesses as well. We are here to support it. We are glad to be heard, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker, representing CBS, unless I'm mispronouncing this very badly.
Good morning. My name is Donald Dowie. I represent CBS at 6121 Sunset and Vine. I'm also on the board of directors for the CHC and on the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. Most importantly, a resident of the bid to be established. We have been there since 1937. We've always considered ourselves leaders in the community, and we fully support this bid. I think it's going to be great for the community and for the businesses and everyone concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Final two speakers, Duke Gallagher and Alan Sides.
My name is Duke Gallagher. I'm also on the board of the CHC, and I represent two property owners in the Sunset and Vine area. I wish to thank the Mayor's Office, the two Council Districts 4 and 13 for their help and support. I also want to thank the Entertainment District and the Media District for their support. We kind of fall right in the middle, and we'd like to continue all the good work that they have for the improvement and of Hollywood going forth. Thank you.
Thank you. Alan Sides will be our final speaker.
Hi, my name is Alan Sides. I'm the owner of Ocean Wave Recording Studios, which is located at 6050 Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. We've been an important part of Hollywood for some years, and we are in this bid, this potential tax increase. Our studios have been responsible for any number of albums: the Barbra Streisand Broadway album, the Natalie Cole's Unforgettable, Lionel Richie's All Night Long, Michael Jackson's Thriller, Bonnie Raitt's Nick of Time, Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. This dramatic increase in property tax is one more nail in the coffin of the entertainment business in Hollywood, particularly for small and medium-sized businesses. My property taxes are increasing 60% immediately, with the potential for substantially higher assessments in the near future. I'm sure I don't have to remind any of you that LA is already one of the most expensive cities in the country to do business. At a time when the music business is down and the economy is suffering, to virtually double property taxes makes no sense. The fact that this tax is not spread out evenly across all business in LA makes it particularly unfair. As a business trying to compete, I'm no longer on a level playing field. The majority of other music studios in the city will not pay this tax. At one time, the music business was a major part of Hollywood. Frank Sinatra actually started Reprise Records in our building at 6050 Sunset. Unfortunately, much of the music business has left Hollywood. And if the council has an interest in retaining what's left, it's essential that they vote no on this blatantly unfair tax. I rarely get involved in political issues, but the unfair nature in which the boundaries for this bid were drawn and the huge discounts offered to some of the large property owners to go along with this tax increase are unreasonable. The small and medium-sized businesses get left holding the bag, paying the full tax. Clearly, this is an ill-conceived and unfair tax to small business. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This closes the public comment on item number 7. Council discussion and debate on item number 7. Members wishing to be heard, I see our city clerk here eager to give a brief presentation.
Mike Carey, the city clerk. This is part of the process. We will now tally the ballots at your meeting tomorrow night. We will announce the results of the ballots. I want to clarify something for everyone. Number one, this is not a tax. This is a special assessment for special benefits received by the district that is established based on a vote of the folks and the stakeholders in the districts. The petition that started the process cannot now be withdrawn, so a gentleman came to the podium and made that statement. The summary of the management district plan is properly circulated during the petition process as provided for in state law. Again, tomorrow night we will tabulate the assessment ballots, not protests. The way this works, each stakeholder gets a ballot. You can vote yes or no. If the ballots coming back on the no side, based on the assessment value, exceed 50% of the amount to be assessed, the district cannot be established. So I don't want anybody to leave the building confused about what the process is going to entail. And tomorrow night at your meeting, we'll announce the tabulation of the ballots.
Thank you. Members wishing to be heard? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, please open the roll on approval. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item number 9, called special by Councilmember Pacheco.
Mr. Pacheco, item number 9.
Mr. President, colleagues, I know this is simply a note and file report from Arts, Health, and Humanities Committee, but I do want to highlight the important issue that was being addressed in this report. That is the consolidation of senior services and efforts to ensure that these services are easily accessible. One of the things I don't think we fully appreciate at times is the fact that all of us are living longer, and the secondary impact of living longer is that we need more and more multi-purpose facilities for all of us in the community. That's why I asked the council, and we do have in committee, a proposal to, at some point after we get through the secession vote, deal with voting on a bond to increase the number of senior citizen multi-purpose facilities throughout the city of Los Angeles. I think that right now, as we wait for this vote, we can reflect upon what the report has pointed out. One of the most important things that this report points out is that it's to our benefit to have these facilities and services housed in city-owned property. One of the options that the report brings out is that during the November 2000 voting, we passed Prop Q, which upgrades quite a number of fire departments, stations, and that there's going to be approximately 18 fire stations which were going to be either constructed or rehabilitated, and they may create some vacancies. According to the report, the fire department anticipates the vacancy of 11 stations to the existing fire stations in spring of 2003. The fire department will be working with each council member to determine if these buildings could be utilized by another department. I just want to highlight that the Department of Aging, in an effort to bring more services to our seniors, should take first priority as recommended in this report. And I also want to ask you to keep in mind that very soon we will be coming back and putting on track hopefully the issue of getting a senior citizen bond to finance the amplification, construction, rehabilitation of our senior facilities throughout the city of Los Angeles. I just wanted you to track this issue because it's an important issue to me that I want to bring up to the council at a later date once we get through this vote. So I just using the opportunity under the note and file on number 9.
Thank you, Mr. Pacheco. The recommendation remains to note and file this item. Other members wishing to be heard? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the roll, please close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
That matter is noted and filed. Next item, please.
Item number 10, called special by Councilmember Hahn.
Ms. Hahn.
I believe we have two members of the public that would like to speak on this item, so would it be appropriate for me to move that we reopen the public hearing for 5 minutes?
Yeah, motion is what's necessary, and
Can I get a
unless I
second
hear
on
an
that?
objection, there's no objection to that. Let's then reopen the public hearing. That's Ms. Hahn's request, and hear from Arthur Almeida and Irene Almeida. Please come forward at this time.
Thank you, Mr. President. Honorable members of the council, I'm here as the president of the San Pedro Bay Historical Society. San Pedro, which I think I can safely say has more historical places and events any district in the city of Los Angeles. Some that we had before we became part of the city of LA in 1909. The proposal before you, and hopefully you will approve it, is to name the municipal building, built in 1928 in San Pedro, as one of the promises made by the city of Los Angeles at the time of annexation. So I ask that you consider seriously this particular proposal. It's one more item on the historic agenda that the city enjoys. And hopefully my councilwoman, Janice Hahn, realizes that she does represent one of the most historic districts in the state of California, across the board. So with that, Mr. Chairman, if you allow a few minutes that are left, my wife can say a few words.
President Padilla and council members, I'm Irene Almeida, and I submitted the application on behalf of the San Pedro Bay Historical Society for this recognition of the San Pedro Municipal Building. It deserves to be on this, the Los Angeles Cultural Heritage Monument because it has always been a prominent skyline feature in San Pedro, and it is the only building of its age and type left in our area. So I would appreciate it very much, and the community would appreciate very much for this designation, particularly because in recognition of the fact that the San Pedro City Hall, in quotes, was a promise made by the City of Los Angeles to the community of San Pedro when it was annexed in 1909. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comments and for being here this morning. Ms. Hahn.
Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues, and I really want to thank Art and Irene Almeida, great residents of San Pedro and great advocates for appreciating the history that is all over San Pedro. And I would ask that you would all support this proposal to include the San Pedro Municipal Building in the list of historic cultural monuments of Los Angeles. This is one of several regional city halls in our city. It was built in 1927. It's the largest building of its period, and as Irene said, the only one of its type remaining. It's one of the promises we kept, which is an important thing that we talk about right now. That is one of the things we did right when we promised the community of San Pedro if they would become a part of the city of Los Angeles, we promised to build them their own city hall. It's an interesting fact that the entire state of California actually contributed to the mortar in the cornerstone of this building. The sand comes from every California county. Every California cement mill contributed. And water was used from each California mission site in this cornerstone, which is a very interesting part of this building. It's located on Beacon Street, and in my opinion, it really is a beacon of not only our community, but of the entire city of Los Angeles. I think the rest of you colleagues would actually probably be very jealous if you saw my district office in this municipal building. It is really one of the most gorgeous buildings, and my corner office in my district looks out over the beautiful harbor of Los Angeles. I know I really didn't even want to bring that part up, but anytime you would like to come visit this historic building, of course, you're all welcome. So I want to thank Irene for putting in the application. This is truly a beautiful building, and since we renovated it in 2000, I think we finished the renovation, it's really, we did a great job in really restoring it to the luster it once had. So I hope you'll all vote for this, inclusion as a historic cultural monument. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hahn. Mr. Labange.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just rise to support this great application and thank our friends from San Pedro there. In the 1920s, it was a great time in our history. Tomorrow night, we will be at a new fire station right next to another historic fire station built in 1927. And as you had described the history of that cornerstone, Janice, and all the effects of people putting together, that's wonderful history. It's a beautiful building. And yes, colleagues, I like to travel this city of Los Angeles and visit various locations, and I do believe Janice Hahn has the best field office view of anybody of our great harbor in the Port of Los Angeles. So congratulations to the community for this application. Long live the regional city hall, San Pedro. We have also one in Eagle Rock and Van Nuys, which is being redone, and West Los Angeles Municipal Building, Westchester, all of them very important. But this is special for San Pedro today. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hahn for a
You
second
know,
time.
I just want to take this opportunity, Ron Deaton nudged me to also say the other great things the city is doing to renovate historic structures in San Pedro. We just reopened the beautiful renovated Cabrillo Bathhouse down in San Pedro. We're finishing remodeling the Point Furman Lighthouse. What was the third one you told me? Oh, yeah, and we're doing more work on the Banning Museum in Wilmington. So the city is really spending our dollars to restore some of the beautiful historic buildings which have so many memories for people not just in San Pedro but for all over Los Angeles. Thank you.
Mr. Holden.
Mr. President, members, I support the motion of Ms. Hahn for San Pedro.
Pedro.
No. I talked to some of my Latino friends, and they said you're deficient in the way you pronounce.
Ask the historian how you pronounce it.
I talked to them, and they told me, Ms. Perry's assistant said, "You're right, Mr. Holden, it's San Pedro." So I don't want to say anything wrong, but I think that's what they say, Ms. Hahn.
No, it's Pedro. Isn't that right, Art? Pedro. Thank you. Yes. Please comment on it.
Clarification from the
Let's make
local
it once
authority.
and for all. Once and for all.
For the Spanish-speaking community of all the world, it is San Pedro. But as preference to San Pedrins, we call it Pedro. And that's it.
Thank you very much. I believe we're ready for a vote now. Mr. Clerk, please open the roll. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
That is approved. Congratulations. Next item, please.
Item number 39, called special by Councilmember Hahn.
Ms. Hahn, item 39.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I called this special to make a technical amendment. I move that the authority for this parcel be transferred from the Housing Department with the Assistant of General Services to the Recreation and Parks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I think we can act on the item as amended. Other members wishing to be heard? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the roll. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item number 55, called special inasmuch as a motion is required on this matter.
Item 55 is now before us. I understand Mr. Burnson. Mr. Burnson, you have a motion on item 55? And staff is available for assistance.
Yeah, Ron, you want to tell us where this is at? I believe that we have a letter from Browning Ferris.
Right. There's a letter on the file that indicates that per discussions with your office and with city staff that BFI agrees to remove the oak trees only after the stream bed alteration agreement from the Department of Fish and Game, 404 permit for stream bed removal by the Army Corps, a certification from the California Regional Water Quality Board, and a issuance of a building permit. So I think the suggestion is that you receive and file your motion, that the assurance from BFI is sufficient, that there is
I know we have the letter, but
and there's also a letter from
yeah, Arnie, would you come up to the microphone here and give us your personal assurance? I trust Arnie. I'm not so sure I trust BFI.
I guess that's a compliment, Councilman.
You'll take that as a compliment.
I take that as a compliment.
It's as good as it's going to get.
That's right. No, the letter is says what it is, and BFI has put in writing, and will stand by that letter. They will not remove the trees till all the
I have your personal assurance.
Absolutely,
right?
sir. Absolutely.
Okay. I would urge that we receive.
Move, receive, and file.
Receive and file. And I would so move. And I want to thank Mr. Holden for taking it into his committee yesterday.
Members, we have motion to receive and file. Mr. Holden.
Mr. President, members, we did make some kind of an amendment or left a message to the council regarding these trees and whether or not all the other conditions are met that are set forth in the letter from BFI. and also from the homeowners association representative. And I think those requirements should be specified before the council. Would you?
I reiterated.
You did read?
I did read them, and also there's a letter from the homeowner group that involved in this process that they agreed with the letter from BFI, and that, as you said in your committee, that there's assurance that these people have a right to comment and put their input on all 4 of these items as they work their way through the process.
Right. So that should be a matter of record. That's what we're voting for. That's part of the file.
Right.
That this receiving file is conditioned upon the fact that these homeowners association members will be authorized or have the right to speak out for or against the removal of these trees that have been around for 150, 200 years as they go through the process of getting permitted by these 4 agencies. Is that correct, Mr. Deaton?
That's fine.
Well, would you just restate that so everybody understands?
Receive and file, subject to the assurance from BFI, these 4 conditions, and that those 4 conditions that the neighborhoods groups will have the opportunity to input and be part of the process in the approval of those items.
Mr. President, this is all located in the valley, right, Mr. Deaton?
My understand, the letter that was received by your committee yesterday was from North Valley Coalition subscribing to supporting that issue.
We want the valley enclosed.
And recall that this is about the closure of the existing landfill.
I understand.
There's nothing to do with, per se, with the expansion.
Well, I think it's important for us, especially at this time, to let the valley residents know that we are concerned about their interests and that we're going to do everything we can here to protect it. I think that's the appropriate thing to do, Mr. Deaton.
You and Mr. Burnson have obviously been at the forefront of that.
And I think all the members of the council have.
Yes.
So they need to know that we're on their side.
Absolutely.
Or maybe, at least I know I am.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. Mr. Burnson.
Yes, just to clarify this, this really has nothing to do with the reopening of the city portion, which a previous council approved by an 8-7 vote. Obviously, if we had our druthers, and I'm sure this council would never make such a decision, but that being what it is, until something further happens, we have to live with it. But I want to thank Arnie, and I want to thank BFI and the homeowners for coming to the rescue of these trees. Unfortunately, we've already had about 2,000 of them destroyed up in the canyon in the county portion when the county allowed them to open in the county portion after the city closed the city portion in 1990, I believe it was. So I want to thank the members of the council, and I want to thank the North Hills Coalition for being vigilant and working for their community. And I would urge that we receive and file this, and we'll stand by to see what else happens on this. There may be some more action later on, who knows?
Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Council President. I also want to thank BFI and the good work of the city. The trees are important. Oak trees should be preserved. That's the law. We basically waved it out of our committee just to get it here to this point. I think what's crucial is we keep looking at this comprehensively. The groundwater, as much as the trees and everything else that needs to go in this process, we have to continue to analyze in such a way where it's a benefit to everyone. So thank you for that opportunity, giving the community folks the opportunity to engage this process and look at how we can reassess our approach to save the trees. Thank you very much.
Other members wishing to be heard? Seeing none, members, we have the motion to receive and file before us. Mr. Clerk, please open the roll. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
That is approved. That item is received and filed with said conditions. Next item, please.
Item number 56, called special, inasmuch as there's 2 reports on 1 file, the Budget and Finance and Personnel Committee.
Is there a motion from the floor on item 56? Mr. Pacheco.
I'd like to move the Budget and Finance report on this matter.
Okay, we have a motion. Mr. Reyes seconds. Other members wishing to be heard? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the roll. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item number 60, called special by Councilmember Holden.
Mr. Holden? Mr. Holden, item 60. Let's proceed to the next item and hold item 60 on the desk.
Item number 70, called special by Councilmember Pacheco.
Mr. Pacheco?
Mr. President, I just wanted to highlight a reward motion because obviously one of the most important points about a reward motion is that the public be aware that we're looking for help. And in this case, on November 3rd of 2000, at approximately 2 a.m. in the community of Highland Park, 21-year-old Anthony Prudhomme, while asleep, two armed suspects invaded his home and demanded money. Mr. Prudhomme protested, vehemently stating repeatedly that he had no money, and as a result of the demands not being met, he was shot and killed while he lay in his bed. The suspects then made their escape. As the unidentified suspects for this crime represent an ongoing threat to the safety of the people of Los Angeles, it is appropriate for the City of Los Angeles to offer a reward for information leading to the identification and apprehension of the person or persons responsible for the murder of Anthony Prudhomme. Simply ask for the council support. Louisa Ashley and Detective Teague are also here. If there's any questions, Louisa Ashley being the mother of the victim, simply ask for your support on the $25,000 reward to apprehend those individuals responsible for the murder of Anthony Prudhomme. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Pacheco, for bringing that to our attention. Other members wishing to be heard on this item? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the roll. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
That is approved. Forthwith on this item, please. Forthwith on item 39 as well. Please, Mr. Clerk. Next item.
Item number 71, called special by Councilmember Holden.
Mr. Holden, we have item 60 being held for you as well as item 71. Which would you like to take first?
It's 60, Mr. President.
Let's take item 60 first.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Holden.
Right, I understand that the Department of Recreation and Parks is looking for the exemption for some employees for their department. And I want them to tell us why it's needed at this time with the budget crisis being what it is and why we should vote for it.
Good morning. I'm John Dugan with the Department of Recreation and Parks. I'm joined by Norma Gutierrez of our personnel section. The hiring unfreeze request that is before you is for 1 director of marketing and 8 aquatic facility managers to allow us to properly supervise the pool activity. The director of marketing provides basically marketing services for our department. That's what's before you this morning.
Well, my question is that you want 8 aquatic facility managers, 1, and you closed the pool in my district over there on Pico Boulevard. Are you aware of that?
E.G. Roberts, sir?
E.G. Roberts pool is closed. You don't need 1 for that pool. What happened to that manager who was managing that pool?
Normally what we will do is reassign the staff. There's no reason to leave staff at a pool that has been closed.
Then why you suddenly need 8? What happened? Somebody left, somebody retired?
We've had positions filled on emergency basis throughout the summer, and they have to continue after their emergency has elapsed. We have an eligible list available to us now, and we wish to make the regular appointments.
No, all I want to say is that every summer the kids, they love swimming in the pool. This is an all-year-round pool, E.G. Roberts.
E.G. Roberts.
And you're going to have to do something about getting that pool open. What's wrong there?
We believe that there is a return line problem that we're currently investigating. We have to do the analysis of that to develop some plans, work with the county because they do control some of our efforts as far as a plan approval, and see what we have in the way of a total cost for the report.
When are you going to start doing this? I mean, if you need the county's help, we can help you there. I mean, you got to come together, formulate some plan with some schedule, with a timeline.
We agree. I think the first step probably would be get together with your staff and make sure that they are on board with what our plans are.
How long has this pool been closed?
How long will it be closed?
How long has it been closed?
Since August.
Since August. Then now you're going to get together with my staff. You should have gotten together with my staff before. Mr. Hernandez was saying that kids throughout that entire area served the 4th district, they served the 1st district, they served part of the 5th district, for those that don't have pools in that area. And we need that swimming pool open. Expedite this project, this effort. Will you commit to do that?
We'll commit to doing as much as we can to move that one along. You have to recognize, Mr. Holden, that we have more than 40 pools in the city that are more than 40 years old. We have 5 other pools that are out of service today.
So what are you saying to me? I shouldn't vote for this?
We're requesting
If you're
your...
out of service, I mean, how many aquatic managers do you have?
We have at least one for every facility, and there
So
are
40
there are more than 55 facilities, 5 of which are closed.
And in my district also, you have the Rancho Park, the swimming pool, and that was closed for a while, but that's reopened. I just got badgered. It served Mr. Thomas' district, served my district, and you guys just go slow, too slow. And it seems like I don't get a good feeling that this is of interest to you. Well, we got 4 others that's closed also. We got a total of 5. Like, so what? You're not the only one. That's the way the message comes across.
We believe all of our council members are very important to all of us.
Well, you still no answer. That's an arrogant answer. Of course, we all important to all of us. We're important to you as well. If you don't believe it, wait time next time you get an evaluation. You're getting one today. You want to know that?
Mr. Holden, you have a motion other than what the recommendation
My
is before us?
motion is that you go forthwith to get those pools open, all 5 of them. Those youngsters are being deprived of the opportunity to swim and to learn to swim. Make an effort. It's important to each council person, if that's true what you say. That's my motion.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Holden.
give us a
We have-
timeline, Mr. President, when those pools, where those pools are and when they'll be open. If I can get a second on that.
Okay, we have item 60 before us with a request for the department to move as quickly as possible. Mr. Willie Thomas.
As an amendment to Mr. Holden's motion and sentiment, please make sure that the pools in CD8 are done first. Thank you very much.
Mr. Clerk, please open the roll. Please close the roll and tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
That is approved. Forthwith, please. Next item.
Item number 71, called special by Councilmember Holden.
Mr. Holden.
Mr. Deaton, this project you put upon us how many years ago, this merger with MTA and LAPD, and we said that it would be a problem then, and maybe it is a problem. Will you explain what you have before us today?
Well, what we have is currently a contract for certain parts. As you recall, both the sheriff and the police department took over what the MTA police was doing. Quite frankly, I think that the existing contract is working fairly well. We made the transition from the MTA doing their basic police services on the trains and other areas rather smoothly. However, now has happened is those contracts are coming to a conclusion in the next 6 to 8 months, and there's an RFP on the street from MTA for those services. Probably the police department and the sheriff's department are the ones that will respond. And this motion just points out some difficulties, I think, with the RFP. One is that the RFP would require that MTA would have unilateral control over deployment. This is in conflict with the charter, and quite frankly, on the ground is probably not feasible. Also, the RFP requires that the MTA could unilaterally adjust staffing levels during the term of the contract based on their budget. That would put us at jeopardy that we would not have, if they were into a budgetary problem, all of a sudden that budgetary problem would be converted into a city budgetary problem by unilateral action. Also, the RFP provides that if they're in a work stoppage situation, if they're having difficulties with their labor organizations and are in fact not conducting business, that those budgetary losses, because they don't need quote-unquote the police presence, would be our responsibility to make up those budgetary differences. Those 3 items alone, in my opinion, make it problematic that we would, under those terms and conditions, continue this contract. And I think this motion just points out that because that is problematic, that the city administrative office, my office, the mayor's office should look at what are the possibilities, what would we do if we did not bid, or what would we do if these conditions remained and for some reason we didn't continue with this service. There's also an issue of civilization, the civilianization of fare checkers, which is also a new wrinkle that we think needs to be looked at. But I think the motion just puts the city on notice and requires some staff to do some investigation. If we were to absorb, if we weren't to go ahead with the contract, how would we absorb the staff and necessary resources that wouldn't be paid for by MTA? Because there are some very difficult hurdles to cross over in the request for proposal.
Mr. President, Mr. Deaton, we have 4 votes on the board over there. The board had to take an action to release this RFP with these conditions in it. Mr. Bernstein, are you sitting over there? How did this happen? I'm keep talking. I'm asking you. You're our rep. Somebody need to tell us about our representatives. This is like a gag order, tantamount to it. You can't do anything. We can't go forward. We cannot accept the conditions of the RFP and say we're going to respond to it because the reason we already set forth here. Mr. Williams, you from the mayor's office, tell us.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. There was a general
Mr. President.
There was a general board policy adopted.
Mr. President, thank you.
There was a general board policy adopted by the MTA board several months ago, which dealt with the general confines of the security contract. That being, they wanted to use additional civilian folks inside of the security contract, wanted to reduce the overall amount of money that the MTA spent on the security contract. But as to the specifics of the RFP, the very issues that Mr. Deaton pointed out earlier, those were not done by the board. Those were staff issues.
Mr. President, members, I'm not getting Mr. Williams, you do a good job. But let me just tell you, when this merger was discussed, our number one interest was the public safety and welfare of the people who use our transit system. It was not only our interest, but it's the board interest as well, and the city council. It was the intention of the MTA Board of Directors to merge with the Los Angeles Police Department and to continue to provide that safety. And they felt they could be done better and more proficiently with the Los Angeles Police Department being in charge of that operation. They agreed to pay us for that service something in the area of $15, $20 million a year. I said then, and now it's proven to be true, that they would cut back any time they choose to do so. And now you have a new board in place, and that's in fact what they're doing. They give you an offer you cannot even accept because it's a losing proposition. Maybe they're doing that with the intention of selecting another law department in order to provide that kind of service. It's a backdoor attempt to bring someone else in to do policing in the city of Los Angeles. By a 14-1 vote, you initiated the merger, Mr. Deaton. You advocated the merger, Mr. Deaton. And now you have to face the music. The fact of the matter is that we are being disadvantaged. We now have to take this staff. We will not be getting this $15 to $20 million a year that you promised us. What I would suggest you do is you go over and you tell them that our intentions are the same now as they were 3 or 4 years ago when we adopted this program and put it in place. That we want to protect the people of this city who use that transportation system, and that the Los Angeles Police Department be the one to do that. And withdraw that RFP and give us a direct contract and not have direct control over the employees who serve that mission. And that's what they want to do. They want to tell you who to hire, when, who to fire, who can serve, and that's an RFP. That is absolutely ridiculous. How could you ever vote for that? Mr. Bernstein, you should have brought that to our attention.
Thank you, Mr. Holden.
You represent us over there.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. Ms. Misikowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. As the maker of this motion, I rise, one, to say that historically what we did, as led by then Chief of Police Bernard Parks, was the right thing. Participating in one Los Angeles, one PD, we merged the MTA officers. We didn't accept all of the MTA officers. We made the MTA police officers go through a rigorous review, and we got 200 very, very good officers, many of whom are still outstanding officers of LAPD. We also got, by the way, a very outstanding command officer. Commander Sharon Papa was then the chief of police of the MTA, and we, in that merger, got a very good command officer who is still serving today. Mr. Holden is right. Today is a new day. What we did 3 years ago was enter into that contract, very delicately negotiated, very seriously and hard-edged negotiation on the part of the Los Angeles Police Department, and we have been doing a good job, and it has worked well. Today, like any other institution, they are going out for a new contract. What this motion asks is the new contract a good contract for us to consider? We need the analysis of the mayor's office, the CAO, and the CLA to determine whether or not we should respond to the RFP. As Mr. Deaton indicated, and I think others have as well, there are issues in this contract which may not be a good thing for the Los Angeles Police Department. For instance, supposedly under this term, MTA would get to choose each and every officer. We would have to commit to keep each and every officer that MTA wanted there for a duration of time, so that officer would be deprived of the right to take a test for advancing and move on up. They would get to choose who the command officer is. They would unilaterally, if there is a work action on the part of MTA, agree or decide not to pay us for that term for those police officers. They could unilaterally, during the term of the contract, say that whatever number of officers we have serving out there, they want to cut back and reduce the amount that they pay us. It leaves the Los Angeles Police Department, I think, in an untenable position, and I think unless, as we look at this, and there are negotiable points from MTA, I'm not so certain that it's a good thing for us to begin to respond to that RFP and go forward. What this motion asks is the analysis of the CAO and CLA, and I would like to ask that their more thorough analysis be presented to us a week from today on October 29th. We have until November 15th to respond to the RFP. In looking at this analysis as to whether or not we should respond, we can also look at what the alternatives are. If we don't respond, and if we maintain these 200 officers who are officers in good standing and now serving in all sorts of areas of Los Angeles Police Department, what would be the effect of that? How would we accommodate that? This is the kind of thing that I think is reasonable to be asked of our analysis, reasonable to look at whether or not we want to go forward, and reasonable to look at what the alternatives are. Just also as a caveat, one of the things in this RFP that is out is MTA doesn't want police officers to be the ticket takers, the fare checkers, et cetera, but they want the contracting agency, i.e. LAPD or LA Sheriffs for that matter, to be the ticket taker, fare checkers, et cetera, and set up a whole new civilian division that is not now in LAPD to set up rates, to set up employee designations, et cetera, which is another burden that LAPD has not handled in the past, and I'm not certain that it is or reasonably prudent to do that. In any case, I think it's appropriate to look at this before going forward with a response to determine how or if it is in the best interest for the city to respond, and I appreciate the cooperation of everyone at the table, including the police department, who is looking at this, looking at the analysis, and making some determination. I believe that a week from today we can have a recommendation more fully formed, but I thought it was worthwhile to bring it to everybody's attention around this table because it does impact LAPD at present, LAPD and some of its officers as to how we go forward in the future, and an additional burden or not that the Los Angeles Police Department would choose to, under the guidance of the Commission and the City Council at this time, choose to go forward to attempt to negotiate. It's for that reason the motion is on the desk, with further analysis due, hopefully, a week from today.
Thank you. Mr. Burnson.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the council. If you recall, and I think Ms. Misikowski outlined most of it, and Mr. Deaton took the blame for it, but it actually was Mayor Reardon who pushed for the incorporation of the MTA police into the LAPD, and that was to fulfill his promise to increase the size of the department to 9,000 employees, 9,000 officers, right, Ron?
I think that was a factor.
That's right. And I was not enthralled by it, but went along with it because the mayor wanted it. I wasn't. I don't believe I was a full board member there. I think I was an alternate at that time, if I'm not mistaken. But that be what it is. There has not been a happiness on the part of the MTA management and board as far as how not just the LAPD, but the sheriffs as well, are utilized. For example, checking tickets and things of that nature, as far as fares. So I think this RFP was staff-driven, staff approved, and I think that it's appropriate that we do make comments on it and state what our objections may be or what we're willing to do. But I must tell you that there are other agencies that are willing to bid on this for the whole thing. The sheriffs, for one thing, are interested, and that would make a nice little bit of help for their budgetary problems over at the county. And we also have, you want to say something?
I would just like to say that I would find it remarkable that the Board of Supervisors would authorize a contract with those three provisions in it for the Sheriff's Department.
I don't think they probably will either. That's why, that's why this RFP may prove not to be the RFP that ultimately goes out to be responded to. So I think it's appropriate that we ask for comments. We make our comments back to the board. And I must remind you that while we have 4 votes there, we're only 4 of 13. And there are 5 county supervisors that outweigh us a little bit. It's one of those things where we are in the minority over there, and we do our best to try to look out for the city. And I think that we've done a fairly good job of that. But this is not something that this is something that has evolved as a result of taking over the MTA police. And I don't know what's going to happen on this, but I presume that a new RFP will come forward. That's just my guess. But I would urge an aye vote on this. This just merely asks us to come back and report and make comments to it.
Regresemos de nuevo con comentarios. Señor Sainz.
Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues. The issue of public safety is critical, and on our transit operations, extremely critical. I know that we had a briefing by the Los Angeles Police Department, and crime was increasing on the transit lines throughout the region. And when those crimes occur, it's incumbent upon the Los Angeles Police Department obviously to respond, whether it's the transit or the geographic division. I know that it's going to come back in a week or so, and I have a number of questions regarding the request regarding the department's deployment, the staffing of the rail and the bus, and the consolidation, some of the other modifications. I've met with the sheriff's representatives, the captain who runs the operation for the Sheriff's Department. I know that the county is hungry to take over this. I know it is going to cause problems with the city, because when an incident occurs and they call 911, it's the local jurisdiction, which is Los Angeles Police Department, that's going to respond, and they'll have to sit and babysit until the other agency gets there to basically take a report. But all the obligations, responsibility of public safety in the city of Los Angeles rest upon the LAPD. And the LAPD is ultimately responsible and held accountable for that. So I support LAPD maintaining that, and I understand that with crime going up and the concern about public safety on our transit lines, and I look forward to what happens when it comes back to us. But the concern is, if it goes to another agency and those 911 calls come in, we're still going to respond, we're still going to provide public safety, but now you have a major disconnect between the one providing the safety and then babysitting for the other agency to respond and handle. And maybe there can be some change in the configuration if it's a cost factor, but we have to look at the public safety in the public arena and using that. I know in my district they're talking about a BRT, a bus rapid transit, the red bus going down the corridor, and there's some controversy about that. It's going to be in the city of Los Angeles, in the San Fernando Valley. Where's that service going to come from? If we use sheriff's jurisdiction personnel, it's going to come from a great distance away. And I know that the LAPD wants to police those lines, and they've done a great job policing those lines. It's not 24 hours a day yet, but I think in the future you're going to find it moving to 24 hours a day, and we still have the obligation of providing public safety. If the crime occurs in Los Angeles, it's going to fall on the LAPD, not the Sheriff's Department. That's the ultimate. So I support keeping us intact with that. keeping those
permanecer
personnel
intactos, permanecer
and
estos
diverting them to
oficiales
something else and having the
y
sheriffs take
mandarlos a
in,
otro
we're
lugar y
still going to be
que
the first
hice algo
responders, and that's the bottom line to
así
it.
se encarga de
So we look
este
forward to the
contrato.
report that's
Nosotros
going to come
aún
back, and
permaneceremos los
hopefully we can
responsables, por
maintain
lo
that.
tanto
I
espero
understand this was a 5-year
con
contract,
anticipación de este
and it's up for another
contrato.
5-year
Yo
renewal.
sé que este es un contrato de 5
So
años,
whatever
después
arrangements can be
empezará
made,
otro
but the bottom
contrato
line
de
is
5
we're going
años
to provide that
adicionales,
public
pero
safety, whether we get paid
nosotros
for it or
proveeremos
not,
esta
and obviously we
seguridad
should get paid
pública,
for it
nos
if we're going
paguen
to
o nos
provide it.
paguen, y obviamente debemos recibir pagos si es que nosotros seremos los
Hey,
encargados
Council
de proveer
President, what are our
esto.
time frames
Gracias.
like? I mean, what are we
Díganos
talking about
el
in terms
horario.
of having to make decisions? How long do we have for the
¿Cuánto
study?
tiempo,
What is, can we stage this out a little bit? Can you hold my time?
Right. We've actually been meeting
Nos hemos
to
reunido
prepare to respond to the
para
RFP for the past month
preparar
and a
una
half,
respuesta
perhaps 2
al
months.
RFP ya por el último mes o 2
response
meses.
must be
La
into the
respuesta
MTA
tiene
on
que
November
ser
15th
presentada
by
al
5
MTA
p.m.
el 15
I
de
believe that's the
noviembre
time. So
a
we
las
have a
5
draft
de la
proposal
tarde.
ready,
Tenemos una
which will be reviewed by our office as well as the CAO and CLA and other offices.
reporte
So how much time will the
que
council
tiene que
have
ser
to
revisado
look
por
at the
diferentes
issues and have
naciones?
this
¿Cuánto tiempo
healthy discussion
tendrá
as to
este
what is
concilio
going to be our
para
position?
I
considerar
suspect
estos
the time frame
asuntos?
may
Y
be
nuestro
somewhat
diálogo
short.
creo yo
We're
que va a ser muy
confined by
poco
the amount
tiempo.
of time that the MTA
Solo
is
tenemos
giving
una
us.
poca
Again, we have
cantidad
to
que nos
respond
otorgado
by
la MTA.
November
Tenemos que
15th.
contestar no más tarde el 15 de
Okay.
noviembre.
Colleagues, the reason why I'm raising these questions is that as we continue to build out our city
continuamos
and as we continue to focus
construyendo
on
nuestra ciudad,
transit-oriented districts, we're talking about
mientras nos enfocamos en
placing
distritos
mixed-use
que
facilities around our
usen
rail
más
stations.
transportación pública, tenemos también
And
que
so our
considerar
incidents
nuestras
of crime,
estaciones de ferrocarril,
the
por
volume
lo
of
tanto
people
los
coming and
incidentes
going,
de crimen,
people
la
actually
cantidad de
living
personas
near
que van y
station
vienen,
sites.
personas que viven cerca de
My understanding is a
estaciones
goal of the city, if we're
trenes,
talking about
entretenimiento, que
the
la meta
infamous
de la
job
ciudad,
housing
hablamos
balance, we're
acerca
talking
de un
about
equilibrio de en
looking at a city
viviendas,
that is going to
considerando
be
una
less
ciudad
dependent on
que
the
va a depender
automobile.
menos en
So what we do with
automóviles, por lo tanto,
security
lo
and
que
the notion of
hacemos con
desirability
seguridad de nuestra noción y habilidad
needs to be a high priority. So how we do that
la
is a
seguridad
very
tiene que ser una
serious, I think,
prioridad.
matter.
La manera
And
de
it's just a
hacer esto
shame
es
we
un
don't have more
asunto
time
bastante
to really
serio.
understand
Es mucha
what
pena
this
que no
means when we
tener más
talk
tiempo para
about
entender
a city that
exactamente lo
really
que eso
needs
significa,
18,000
ya que una
officers
ciudad en
when we only
realidad
have
es una ciudad que
9,000.
necesita 18,000
And we
oficiales,
don't
aún
have right
solamente
now
tiene
the
9,000 personas
infrastructure
y aún
to
no tenemos
train
la
more
infraestructura para
personnel to at
entrenar a
least
más
make an improvement
oficiales
on
para
that
así al
number.
menos mejorar
So
y
every
aumentar esta cantidad. Por lo tanto,
person in that blue uniform
persona
matters a lot when you talk
utilizando
about
este uniforme
the
azul
proportionate need,
tiene un gran
especially
significado
when
cuando
we
hablas de la
concentrating
densidad
people
en
around rail
proporción,
stations.
especialmente cuando
So I just want to
hablamos
put that
acerca de
perspective on the table
estamos oficiales
and
en
try to
estaciones
figure
de tren.
out
Quería
what's the
mencionar
best
este asunto y
approach.
para así tratar
But the
de
truth of the matter is we only have
llegar
about
a
2 or 3 days to really look
una
at this.
decisión
Would
mejor,
that be
pero el
accurate?
hecho es de que solamente tendremos 2 o 3 días
We hope
para
that much.
pasar esto.
You'll
Quizás es
probably have it a
así,
week.
quizás lo tendrán bajo
Okay,
su consideración
thank you.
por una semana solo. Bien, gracias.
Mr. Holden?
Mr. President,
Señor
members,
presidente, miembros,
here's a clear example
este es un buen
by
ejemplo
sometimes how we rubber stamp things,
acerca de cómo
how we go along to get
aprobamos
along.
algo rápidamente
And
para
when
apresurar las
Mayor
cosas y
Reardon, who was my
cuando el
friend, I
alcalde
voted for
Reardon
him
es mi
on
amigo,
the
yo
issue as much as I
voté
can when he was right.
para
But he
él
was
sobre
wrong on
asuntos
this
cuando
issue.
él
He's
hizo lo
just trying to
correcto, cuando
increase
está
the
muy
ranks
correcto de
of the police
solamente
department to
aumentar la
9,000,
cantidad y los
10,000 by
rangos del
merging.
departamento de
That
policía de
turned out to be
9,000 a
superficial anyway
9,000.
because those
Esto fue
persons
superficial
were
porque
working
esas personas estaban trabajando
light rail and heavy
en
rail
líneas de
system.
ferrocarril.
They were not really on the streets. So
Estaban
to give
patrullando
the,
las calles,
of
por lo
having more
tanto,
police officers on duty when you in
dio
fact
la
you did
apariencia
not.
que tenía más
I
oficiales
just
trabajando cuando en
amazed that
realidad
Mr.
no es
Burson
así.
said
Me
he just went
me
along with
sorprende
him.
que el señor Burson dice
And
que
I understand
solo
the other 13
decidió
members went along with him
apoyar a él
also.
así y otros
What I try to
otros
say
13,
then, as
14
I
miembros
say
también
now,
apoyaron lo que
we
dije,
have to pay
entonces estoy diciendo ahora,
attention
tenemos que poner
to what we're
atención
doing.
a lo que estamos haciendo.
We should not just go
No
along
solamente
because
debemos de
somebody at the top says that's what they want
hacer
to
lo que
do.
alguien
Because it may
en un
not be the
puesto
best
más
thing for the
alto
city of
diga
Los Angeles. May not be the best thing for its citizens. Now, this contract has been around about 4.5 years or so, I suppose, right? All right, fine. The problem here is that, I say then and now, is the barrier-free system. MTA is true, is correct. We don't need fully well-trained police officers to check tickets. You need civilian personnel. But the fact that they came up with a barrier-free system, which I oppose, Mayor then, Bradley and others, they supported a barrier-free system, and now hence you have the problem. What I think it can do is that have police officers at each station. Okay, they don't have to ride the train, civilians can ride the train and check tickets. You can cut down the cost of MTA operation from the standpoint of public safety. You can have it merged that way, I think. You don't have to have police officers collecting, checking tickets. There's a waste. Officers training. I said it then, and I will repeat the same thing today. So before we just come up with an idea and vote on it and say that's the best way to do it, may not be the best way at all. Think about it, sleep on it. Had we done that, I even suggested to you, Mr. Deaton, that there would be ticket checkers. You laughed at me. Now MTA heard that message, and they don't want to pay that kind of money for ticket checkers, for police officers, for law enforcement. Now they want to have civilian personnel, which is the right thing. They should have done that in the first place. But now we're taking all that dead weight over here now, and we have them in our department, which is a mistake, something we should not have done. Ms. Sikorsky is correct. We'll study it. But the message ought to go to MTA, Mr. Bernstein, that it's a breach of contract. It was a legislative intent when we adopted that proposal, that we will be providing those services. When we merged the two police departments, it was the intent that it would be ongoing. That is a breach of contract. Somebody need to say that to MTA. If you want, I'll go over there and stand as a public comment, and I will tell them.
Que yo vaya durante el comentario
They're dead
público, yo
wrong.
les diré esto, que ellos están en lo equivocado. Gracias, señor Holden. Señor Bernstein ahora.
You know, Mr. Holden, you make a
Holden,
big fuss
usted
about everything and you blame everybody for everything,
relajo sobre
but you
todo
don't
y
know
culpa
what you're
a todos
talking
por todo,
about
pero
half
usted
the
no sabe
time.
de qué
Now,
está
first of all,
hablando.
nobody
Primeramente,
said that it
nadie
was
le
a
ha
bad
dicho que
idea.
esto era una mala
As a matter
idea.
of fact, we
Por
still
hecho,
had to
aún
respond then
tuvimos
to
que
any crime
responder
within the
entonces
city,
para cualquier
right, Mr.
delito que
Zine?
ocurría en la ciudad. ¿Es así,
What we
señor
did
Steiner? Y eso es lo que
basically
hicimos,
was pick up about
básicamente es
$20 million a year towards our
conseguimos
police
20
department
millones
to bolster our
anualmente
police
para nuestro
department
departamento de
for part
policía
of the
por
responsibility that
parte
we
de la
already
responsabilidad
had
que
for
ya
nothing.
teníamos
So,
y antes no
so
hacíamos nada por
the
eso.
only,
Por
the
lo
only
tanto,
reason that
la
I
única
had some
razón
reservations
que yo
about
tenía ciertas
accepting
dudas
these
acerca de
officers into the
aceptar a estos
LAPD
oficiales
was whether they were
como
as
parte del departamento
qualified
de
as the
policías, que
officers that
nuestros
went through
servicios estaban bien
our,
calificados como los
our
policías, los
academy.
oficiales que pasaron
And
a través del entrenamiento de nuestra
what we
academia. Por
actually
lo
did
tanto,
was
lo que hicimos en realidad fue
officers that
aprobar
were, not all the officers
oficiales
that
que
were
sí tienen este
with the
entrenamiento,
MTA
hasta que no
police
solamente los
came onto
que
our,
miembros
onto our
oficiales del
department.
MTA,
The
los que
ones that
fueron
were
incluidos en el
felt to be
departamento, pero los
qualified
que
did, and they've
sí
made good
tenían
officers.
calificación
We rejected about a third,
adecuada,
Mr.
Yeah,
y
Bernstein.
so,
fueron
so that's,
buenos
so let's,
oficiales. Sí, rechazamos como un
let's
tercio,
put
por
that
lo tanto,
argument aside.
hay que
Whether it was a
excluir
good
este
idea or a
argumento. Si
bad
fue una buena
idea,
idea o
there
mala
was no
idea,
guarantee
no hubo
ever
garantía
that
nunca que
we had to be
teníamos que ser
the security for the MTA
seguridad para
as
el
far as
MTA
the
en
central areas
cuanto
are
a
concerned
las
and the
áreas
things
centrales
that are
y
not involved as, you know, the stations.
no está involucrado en las
But,
estaciones, pero
they have the
ellos
ability,
tienen la habilidad,
they have the ability
ellos tienen la habilidad
to
de
contract either with the
entrar en
sheriff's
contrato, ya sea
department
con
or
el
with
departamento de
Pasadena
alguacil
or
o con
the city of Los
Pasadena,
Angeles
con la
or
ciudad de
anybody
Los
they wish
Ángeles,
to,
cualquier persona
if
que
they
deseen
want
hacerlo, si
to
es que
get something done
quieren
or they want to
lograr
have a certain
algo,
type of
quieren
operation.
tener cierto tipo
Now,
de operación. Ahora creo
I
yo
think
que
that Mr. Williams is
el
in the
señor
process, you've
Williams
been
está en
negotiating
proceso,
with
se ha
us,
estado
and
negociando con
ultimately,
nosotros
there are things in that
y
RFP that I don't
hay
think any law enforcement agency is going to accept.
asuntos en
So this is going to be a
RFP que
question
yo no creo que ninguna
of negotiation. Now, what we
agencia
need to do
encargada de
is to
cumplir la ley aceptará, por lo tanto, eso tiene que ser
get
negociado. Por
the
lo tanto, debemos
arguments that we want
de
to
pasar
present
esta moción,
and lay
recibir
them
los
on the table,
argumentos
and
que
then
se
give
presenten,
the mayor's office
incluirlos
the
como
opportunity to
diálogo y darle la
negotiate these things with the board and with
oficina del
the
alguacil la
MTA staff.
oportunidad
Is that
de
correct,
hablar
Mr.
sobre
Williams?
esto con la Junta Directiva
Okay,
y
so I
con
would
el
ask for an aye
personal del
vote.
MTA. Por lo tanto,
We
pido un
don't
voto
need
sí.
to go through all this
No
finger pointing and all this type of
apuntar,
thing.
comparar
You know,
personas, todo ese tipo de
actually,
cosas. En
the
realidad,
motion,
la
the
moción,
act that we did at the time
lo que
was not a
hicimos entonces
was not a
no
bad idea.
fue una
It did
idea
increase
mala,
the
sí
city's
aumentó
department
el departamento,
capability. It
la
also
capacidad del
gave us $20
departamento
million
de la ciudad y también nos dio 20
additional
millones
funds, not only to
anuales
pay for those
adicionales de fondos
officers,
no
but
solamente
to
para
pay for
pagar
some
para
of
los
the
oficiales, pero también
services
para
we were
pagar
already
ciertos
rendering
servicios
for
que ya
nothing.
estábamos otorgando y que no
So,
recibíamos
I
nada.
think everybody ought to consider that. You
Pago
want-
por eso.
want-
I'm just going to comment. I believe that the law enforcement
las
within the city
agencias encargadas de
that
cumplir
includes
la ley dentro de la ciudad,
the MTA
incluye
function is
la
better
función
law
de
enforcement
MTA.
if it's the same agency. The
Claro,
question
se
here
cumplirá la
is,
ley mucho
it
mejor
has
si
to
es la
do
misma
with
agencia. La
who's
pregunta aquí es
responsible for
quién
selection, who's
será
responsible
responsable
if
de
there's
elegir,
a
quién
budgetary
será responsable si hay un
shortfall, etc. There's some
si hay
basic
una
financial financial issues, it's
These
got to be
are the
resolved.
things that are open to negotiation. And we'll be with anybody who...
I agree.
ser negociado y no entrar en un trato con alguien que no quiere negociar esto. ¿Alguien más?
Mr. President, point of order, was that a motion Ms. Miskowski presented to have it in back on the 29th? Okay, thank you.
Would it be possible to make that the end of that week?
¿Se podría hacer esto a fin de esta semana?
Then which date would you prefer, Ms. Muscat?
1st of November, I think, is
Primero
the
de
date.
noviembre. Primero de noviembre.
November 1st, Friday? With that change, Mr.
El
Clerk,
viernes con
please
este
open the
cambio, por favor,
roll,
abra ese voto.
please close the
Cierre
roll,
ese voto
and
y
tabulate the
cuente el
vote.
voto.
15 ayes.
That is
15 sí,
approved.
ha sido aprobado.
Mr. President, not on the
Presidente,
agenda is
no entró en
special
la agenda,
one.
es
It
especial
is a
uno,
motion brought
es una
forward by
moción presentada por
Councilmember
el-
Gruel and
la
seconded by Ms.
concejala
Perry,
Gruel.
and the city attorney will speak to the need to make findings.
La
Madam City
Fiscalía
Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. President.
hablar acerca de la
On
necesidad de
October
hacer
12th,
decisión.
there was
Gracias,
a
el 12 de
fire
octubre,
at an
hubo un
apartment building
incendio en un
located at
edificio de apartamentos cercano
12750 Barbara Ann
275,
Street. It rendered
Barbara
3 of
Ann
the
Street,
units
y tres de esas
uninhabitable.
unidades tuvieron que
2 of
ser
those units
evacuadas, dos de esas
are
unidades de esos
qualify for
apartamentos
housing
califican para
relocation assistance.
asistencia de reubicación de
If
viviendas.
the relocation
y
assistance that
la
they
asistencia
have
de
currently
reubicación que
is about to run
actualmente
out,
tienen
and
ya
if
se
the
vencerá,
council
y
doesn't
si el
act on this,
concilio
they
no
will
hace
become
un juicio
homeless,
sobre
and
esto,
therefore
ellos
the council
tendrán
needs to
que
make the
irse
findings
a la
that the
calle.
need to
Por
act arose
tanto,
after the posting of the agenda, and there's
el
an
Consejo
immediate
tiene que
need to
hacer una
act, and then
decisión
you would
después
vote on
de
the
que esto
authorization
sea sido
to
incluido en la agenda,
prepare
por
the
lo
instructions
tanto,
to the controller to
dar
disperse the
las
monies.
instrucciones al Departamento de Finanzas
Members'
para
decisions to be heard on the findings. Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please open the
otorgar ese
roll.
dinero.
Please
Abra ese
close the
voto,
roll
cierre
and
ese voto
tabulate the
y
vote.
cuente voto.
15 ayes.
15 sí.
Special one now before us.
Pasa el
Members'
honor
wishes to be heard on the
estar
motion
algún
itself. Seeing none,
Miembro
Mr.
que hace
Clerk, please open the
presentación,
roll,
no, abra ese voto,
close the
cierre ese
roll,
voto
and
y
tabulate the
cuente
vote.
voto.
15 ayes.
15 sí.
That is
Ha
approved.
sido
Forthwith,
aprobado.
please.
Procedamos.
Mr. President, currently on the desk is item number 51 and
Asuntos
52, which are
51 y
closed
52
session
son
items. Do you
asuntos
wish
que
to hear
deben
public
llevar a
comment
cabo.
at this
Audiencia
time?
pública desea
Let's
recibir
proceed to
comentario
public
público.
comment period
Sí.
for today's meeting, an
Así lo
opportunity for
haremos.
members of the
Es
council,
una
members of the
prioridad
public
para
to address
que
the
miembros del
council
público hagan
on matters
presentación
within our
al
jurisdiction but
concilio
not appearing on
sobre
today's
asuntos dentro de
agenda.
nuestra
The
jurisdicción,
council
pero que
calls
no
forward
están
Carolyn Moore,
en nuestra
followed
agenda.
by Mort
Carolyn Moore
Allen.
y Mort Allen.
Is Carolyn Moore still with us? If not, then Mr. Allen.
Good morning. I think most of you read in the paper the other day, it was quite interesting that the public is more interested in our LA economy than in terrorism. That's the main thing. I also read this morning that we lost $2 billion in travel in the last 2 years and lost 34,000 jobs. We know that less than 10% of the people in LA read the paper, which is evident by our movement in the valley. Channel surfing has become ineffective, and around the country, the #1 means of advertising has become out-of-home advertising. The company I formerly did real estate for, Clear Channel, according to their last annual report, owns 730,000 billboard displays worldwide. In the greater Los Angeles market, which is from San Luis Obispo to San Diego, they have 17,786 faces, and they have less than 2,000 in the city of LA. So we are a drop in the bucket in the whole thing. Now, almost every car dealer is moving out of LA and moving to the outlying areas because they can't survive without the support of billboards, because people buy the new cars when they're stuck in traffic. Today, there's an issue coming up which I think is the most foolish thing that we've done in a long time. You got an issue that's going to go all the way up to the appellate courts because these companies are worldwide companies, and LA will affect their business totally. So all I'm kind of asking you to do is let your conscience be your guide, and when this comes up in closed session today, that you think about the consequences. You know what happened to Mike Fuhrer. You know that these people bite hard, and nobody's ever brought these people to the table. Now, what I found out on being in the ad hoc sign committee, that there's 3 or 4 independent vendors that put up illegal billboards and sell them to the companies. And instead of going out and prosecuting the obvious illegal ones, you're trying to get them taken down in the whole city. Well, we found out who's behind it. It's the, quote, West Side developers that want to build buildings now. I've got a lot of billboards and a lot of properties that I've sold. Property owners make more money on their billboards. There was a story in the paper about the Sunset Strip where they couldn't build a building, and they put 3 billboards up, and they get $150,000 a month rent from 3 billboards. And there's a big loophole that nobody seems to talk about, and that's the fact that in Eric's district, that when they put the huge Lion King billboard up on top of the building in Hollywood and Vine, Disney rented a 300-foot office in the building and then called it an on-site sign. So that's the next thing that'll happen because there's no regulation on on-site signs. So all you have to do is go and rent a little office in a building and then you put an on-site sign up there, which is the same as a billboard. So there's all these loopholes. So all I'm saying is instead of spending millions of dollars going to the courts, bring the people to the table, see what's happening. They don't want this lawsuit. It's costing a lot of money. It's coming out of Washington. And I just ask that you really think about what it is, because it should be more than a publicity stunt for, people to get press, and you should think about the whole economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. This concludes public comment for today's meeting.
Termina el comentario
Mr.
público.
Clerk, next order of business,
Actuario,
please.
procedamos.
Only the closed session items remain. Do you wish to do housekeeping?
Let's do housekeeping.
Motions for posting and referral.
Motion shall be posted and referred.
And Councilmember Zine requests to be excused on October 30th for city business as meets policy.
Mr. Zine is excused.
The desk is clear except for items 51 and 52.
In conformance with California law, the council will now adjourn into closed session. Guards, please clear the chambers.
All right, the council is back in open session. Mr. Clerk, what is before us?
There's a motion on the desk regarding item number 51 to expend $730,000 in settlement of the refund claim for Tenet Health Systems.
All right, open the roll. This is the Tenet Health System, not the one that you were interested in, Mr. Holden. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That matter is approved. Next item.
Item number 52A, which is Lincoln Place versus City of Los Angeles. This matter, there is a motion on the desk to refer this matter back to Plum.
All right, you've heard the motion. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That matter is also approved.
And item number 52B, Schneider versus City of Los Angeles. The city attorney has requested authority to expend $1.4 million in settlement of case. There is a motion on the desk.
All right, that is a motion from the city attorney. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
8 ayes, 2 noes.
That matter is approved. We will send those settlement recommendations forthwith to the mayor.
Desk is clear.
The desk is clear. Now is the time. Are there any announcements, members of the council? We do have announcements. Mr. Chair, I recognize Mr. Padilla.
I'm standing here at Mr. Labange's place for a few minutes at least. Wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, tomorrow evening, the council will be meeting in the 4th Council District. The Great 4th Council District Fire Station is at 27. Mr. Labange went to Marshall High School. The council tomorrow, as most of the public knows, we want to continuously remind everybody, will not be meeting at the normal time and place tomorrow. We will be meeting at 6:30 in the evening, Fire Station 27, Sunset and Cahuenga, behind the Hollywood Police Station. We invite all members of the community to participate and attend in council proceedings tomorrow evening.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Are there any adjourning motions? We do have some. Could I have everyone please rise for the adjourning tributes? All right, the chair recognizes Councilmember Hahn.
Madam President, colleagues, I would request that we adjourn today in the memory of Mary Catherine Fergus. Kathy, as she was known, passed away on October 8th after a lengthy battle with cancer. Born in Chicago, Kathy was a 25-year resident of San Pedro. She was a registered nurse and worked closely with various committees and groups in San Pedro, particularly those concerned with the public health. Working with the USC School of Medicine, Kathy was involved in various research projects, like evaluating the ramifications of uncovered petroleum coke piles. She served as a board member of the Harbor Interfaith Shelter and worked with the YWCA on increasing breast cancer awareness. She was a Green Party activist and an all-around environmentalist. She also ran recycling drives. Kathy is survived by her husband of 18 years, Tom Dawson, and many relatives in Chicago. Kathy's giving spirit and dedication to those around her will be greatly missed by her friends, family, and all of us in the San Pedro community.
Thank you, Ms. Hahn. Chair recognizes Ms. Perry.
I would like to adjourn today in the memory of the mother of Estela Lopez. Her name was also Estela A. Lopez. She was born August 7th, 1917, and passed away on October 17th, 2002. Funeral services were held today at the new cathedral, and she is survived by her only daughter, Estela. Many of you may know Estela from Miracle on Broadway.
I'd like to be a co-presenter on that, please.
We'll make up that all members with Mr.
Okay,
Burns as the
thank you.
co-presenter.
I'm sure she'll appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, I would also like to ask us to adjourn in the memory of Stanley Chiat. Stan was a professor of longstanding at Hebrew Union College, where he retired about 3 years ago. But in addition to that, he was one of the great creative minds and thoughts behind the Skirball Cultural Center. He was on the Skirball Cultural Center planning committee. He was the one who, with Dr. Uri Hersher, helped create the mission statement and executed that mission statement. He is an author of considerable note on American Jewish studies, American Jewish impact in history, and besides that, he was a poet. And at the Skirball Cultural Center, in the next season's program, is a program of Stanley Chiat's poetry. So I would like the council to adjourn in his memory. He is survived by his wife of many years, Geraldine, and a son and daughter, and he will be very, very missed at the Skirball community, where a memorial service was held today at 11 o'clock. All right. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll. Thank you. Council is adjourned.